So, hello, WIIT. I'm here with Begonia. I hope I'm saying that right. Begonia.
You
Uh,
got it.
Wonderful. How are you today? How are you feeling?
I'm good. Just in Minneapolis, in the hotel lobby. Feeling good. It's sunny outside, way warmer than it is where I'm from. So I'm feeling positive.
Nice. How has tour been?
Good. I mean, we did one leg and then I just had like a couple weeks off at home. So now we're kicking it off again and basically on tour until end of May. And it's been a fun hustle, like meeting amazing people, getting to just like be on the open road again feels so good. Getting to play with this band feels so good. It's just been like positive. It's like touring is nuts where like the highs are so high and then the lows are so low. So it's like trying to find that balance, but the shows have been so life-giving. So it's so good.
That's wonderful to hear. Um,
Yeah.
you mentioned that this album doesn't hold anything back. How does that make you feel?
Vulnerable. No, it's good. I feel like it's kind of how I operate, for better or for worse. I always want, or I not always want, but maybe as I was like growing up, I'm like, I'm going to be mysterious, but it's like in spite of myself, I can't, I'm, I'm not very good at being mysterious. I just, as soon as I start writing songs, it's just like, but everything comes out. So that's kind of what this album felt like for me in a huge way. And every time I think I'm like said everything I'm gonna say, or like on the last album, Fear, I made, I was like, okay, that's everything I feel like I want to say right now. And then years pass, and then I have so much more to say. So that's just kind of what this album felt like. It's like, okay, continuation of vulnerability.
And you also mentioned that you wrote it during the pandemic. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, we wrote, like, my collaborators, Deadman, Matt Schellenberg and Matt Peters, their production duo that go by Deadman. We wrote um a lot of stuff we started writing pre-pandemic, not
Mhm.
really knowing what it was going to be for, and then kind of a year into like pandemic lockdowns, we're like, okay, I think we're making a record. And then went back to some of those songs with like a completely different perspective, and then also wrote a whole new batch, so it was kind of half and half.
Nice. Um, In your opinion, do you think that social media or media consumption is overbearing in this day and age? Just like going back to like the your song "I'm Not Dying." I threw my phone in the fires so I could see the world through both of my own eyes. I just
Mm.
thought that like lyric was really nice. And
Mm.
that song in general is just it's one of my favorites personally. But
Oh, thank
um
you.
yeah. So do you think it's like kind of overbearing, or does it tie to that in any way?
Yeah, I mean, as an artist, I feel like in this day and age too, it can feel, the pressure can feel like a lot to like constantly be like selling yourself, but like make it natural, like sell yourself, but don't make it sound like you're selling yourself. Like sometimes that can really be overwhelming to me. Like I have a love-hate relationship with social media because sometimes I feel like I can really connect with people.
Yeah.
I sometimes have fun. Like if I'm in the right mood and I want to post something stupid or like be like kind of connected to a community, it can feel like a great tool. But then there are other times where I'm just like going down the rabbit hole where it just feels like, why? Like I need someone to rip this phone out of my hand and throw it in a flame in the fire. Like, so I can be a person of extremes in that way, for better or for worse. So yeah, it can be overwhelming to feel kind of that expectation and to kind of be the person that you think people want you to be, or to like make your life appear a certain way. But I really try to just like be as authentic as I can on social media and like post when I feel like posting rather than, but it's hard. It's hard, especially like, yeah, being on a tour right now too, and being like in kind of the stage of my career that I'm in. It's like I do have to hustle. People like I can't just walk down the street and people just know my name. Like I do need to do that kind of like hustling on social media. So it's like trying to find ways that it feels like natural and authentic to me and not totally soul sucking.
Yeah,
It's always the balance.
um on Powder Blue, what is your favorite track or a track that you feel most proudest of, if you have one?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, the more tender ones to me are probably Marigold and Butterfly. Those are probably like, but I have such an affection for like all the songs on here feel like different parts of like my childhood self that I just want to like nurture in different ways, or like my teenager self, like myself a few years ago. Like each one kind of speaks to like me in different places in my life. And I feel like each version of myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to hug you. But like Marigold and Butterfly are two of the ones that I feel really proud of, really connected to. Um, and that speak to kind of like Marigold is kind of like me figuring out my sexuality like throughout my life and like how that's ever changing, and that's not something I've really talked about as much like as kind of openly in my music. And then Butterflies kind of just a casual song about losing religion and like growing up in the church and kind of feeling like I don't connect with that anymore. So two of the kind of more major things that have come up in my adult life that I haven't really felt as comfortable putting into my music because it's felt almost like too vulnerable. So then now that those ones are out there, I feel proud that I just was like, okay, let's just be real. So when I listen to those, I'm like, okay, good job, even though sometimes it still gives me anxiety to like talk about.
Yeah. Um, and do you draw any inspiration or aspects from your former band, Chick Gammon, to Begonia,
Yeah,
or is Begonia?
yeah. I mean, Begonia kind of came out of, I was touring with that band for 8 years. And then when we broke up, I was like, what am I going to do? I had all these songs, and Begonia kind of stemmed from that. But I feel like even if I wasn't thinking or not even trying to draw inspiration from that, it's a part of me in every way. Like it developed my voice because it was like me and four other singers. So it's like we were singing together, developing harmonies in ways that I had never, like I haven't been to school or anything. So like that was my school of like learning how to use my voice in a different way. And I feel like I owe a lot of my understanding of the industry, understanding of touring, understanding of my voice to that project. So yeah, definitely it influences me whether I'm being thoughtful about it or not. It's a part of me for sure.
Um, and I just following up to that, do you have any other influences for Begonia, or just like any other artistic influences that aren't related to like your former band?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up like in my teenage years, like when my brain was really starting to develop and my hormones were on fire, really getting into like Fiona Apple was a huge inspiration for me, like with the honest songwriting and just the heart-wrenching lyrics and the vulnerability and the authenticity. And Erica Badu was a huge influence for me, just the humor and the style and the way that she sings. And Gillian Welsh, Joni Mitchell, Stevie Wonder, D'Angelo. I mean, currently I listen to a lot of like Adrian Lenker and Big Thief, Steve Lacy, like I mean, it kind of, I'm like a music consumer constantly. So like things that influenced me before, I feel like I'm constantly just like curious listening to what's out there. And I'm just the most attracted to what I perceive as honesty and authentic voices, people that I feel like, okay, you're telling me the truth right now, or you're telling me part of your story. Like that's something that will always inspire me and encourage me to do the same. So that's what I want to do.
It's nice to hear. Do you have any Do you have like creative direction with with your music videos or live performances? Or are you
Yeah,
like,
I'm the visuals are so fun for me to like think about, and I like my partner does all my set design, and like we jam together on a lot of that stuff. Like us, there'll be times where I'll finish a song and I'll be like, I have a vision of like what I want the music video to be, and then there'll be other times where I'm like, okay, I want to make a video for this. I think I want this color, or I think I want this mood. And then I'll kind of like talk to my partner, or I have a hair and makeup team in Winnipeg that I trust with my life that I talk to about a lot of creative stuff. There's so many people like in my hometown that are wonderful, creative, collaborative freaks, and I love collaborating. I mean, I grew up in bands, and now as like a solo artist, it feels like that's a way that I get to like collaborate in kind of like a band atmosphere, like it's through visuals, through photo shoots, through video shoots. So oftentimes, like I'll always, I'm always a part of the creative direction. Sometimes I have a really distinct vision, and other times I'm like, okay, I have a half vision, but I trust you with my creative life. Let's jam on this. So I just love for me, collaboration and community, artistic community is so important to everything I do. And that's something that I'm always striving for, is meeting new creatives, nurturing the relationships that I already have, and just making cool shit.
nice? Yeah, I just asked that question because I thought, I think it's right here. I think, is that your most recent one? I thought that video was just really enjoyable to watch with all the different characters.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Do you have any final comments?
Well, we're playing Chicago tomorrow. I don't know when this is airing, but we're at Shuba's. I hope that people come to the show.
I definitely will encourage people to come because I know I'm very excited. So
Oh, good.
definitely. But yeah, thank you so much for your time. I hope this was like not too overbearing or like over um not like, nerve-wracking. But
No, you're great. Don't
um,
worry about it.
thank you so much for your time. I will definitely get this up as soon as possible because this is like I'm pretty sure this is one of my favorite interviews that I've done. So
Oh,
um
awesome.
but yeah, thank you so much again. And I'm so excited to come to the show tomorrow. Um
Yay.
yeah, thank you.